I'm not a resident of the town of Middlebury. I'm Wendy Baker. I'm the superintendent of schools. And I can very much appreciate your desire to stay neutral as a board. I support a similar board, you know, who grapples with those same things. And I'm not here to convince you to settle on a resolution in particular or a letter. I think my reason for coming tonight, since you're taking testimony on the issue, is to let you know a little bit about what we see in the school system related to this. And I see that as relevant to you in your role as stewards of the community in that respect. 40% of Middlebury students receive Medicaid funds in some way, shape, or form. And those Medicaid funds allow tentacles of support that branch out beyond the school into local providers that I'm sure you've already heard from and can name in many respects, and impacts students' ability to have vision care, which obviously impacts learning significantly. In Vermont, we have universal meals, so that's not something that is, you know, their food insecurity during school hours. That's not what I'm here to talk about. Any kind of mental health supports, drug and alcohol prevention efforts, you know, all of that is funded through Medicaid funds. The school district receives about $300,000 a year relative to Medicaid funds that support intervention and prevention efforts. In my view, and I don't say this lightly, you know, on maybe Friday or maybe Monday, the legislature might vote to ensure that our districts are all changed dramatically so that Addison Central, who currently serves Middlebury and 6 surrounding towns, may no longer exist, and we may become part of a larger district, right? You've followed the news in that respect. If Medicaid funding is significantly changed, I would dare say it would have a much greater impact on the fabric of this community than that kind of a change in a school district, which I don't say lightly. And so I think what's important for me to know and to do in my position is just to appear before you, allow you the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have of me relative to that, and ensure that you understand that just like there are many people who are not speaking up about changes in school districts, right? Or the possibility that townspeople may never again vote on a school budget. That actually is also part of what could happen out of this legislative session, depending upon how the negotiations go. And I think, I don't know about you, but sometimes the public's understanding in response to something lags quite a bit behind the moment when it's important to speak up. And I think I would certainly hate for the town of Middlebury not to understand the potential impact on its citizens that this kind of change could bring about. So that's my purpose for being here, is just to be able to you know, offer my perspective to you and to be available to you should you have questions about that, given there's so much testimony coming before you.
So, Wendy, I've seen a lot of statements in the paper about the impact of the education reform on the district. I have seen nothing from school leaders on the Medicaid.
Yeah, so the Vermont Superintendents Association actually has taken a position on that and is working, you know, with legislators around this issue at the state level to ensure that state level advocacy is able to ensure that we are taking the well-being of children across the state in hand, and also advocating to the extent possible in you know, our national representatives. So that's where that collective voice seems to be able to be most surgically placed, if you will. Perhaps Vermont League of Cities and Towns is similar, you know, relative to towns, you know, such as Middlebury. You know, like I said, what you choose to do is up to you. I'm not coming to here before you as a resident of Middlebury. I just want to make sure that you're understanding that from the point of view of someone who takes care of many of the residents of Middlebury, if this change comes into play, and I don't think many of us really thought about the impact of these dollars, and there is no way to backfill them. I mean, the magnitude is such that there's just simply no way to backfill them. There's no way for us to pick up these costs, even if we could afford all the spending in the education side that it might take it. There's not enough money to do that. And it's just important for me that I'm being available to you and sharing that information with you for your consideration.
Appreciate it.